Red Bull brings major updates to their car, the FIA fights back, and Carlos Sainz gives a hint on which team he wants to go to. Let's get into today's latest Formula One news. FIA member clubs from the Americas have recently come forward to urge the FIA to take legal action against those who have allegedly slandered the governing body of motorsport, as well as its president, Mohammed Ben Sulayem. The allegations were made earlier this year by an anonymous whistleblower who claimed that Ben Sulayem had interfered in two Formula One Grand Prix, namely the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix and Las Vegas Grand Prix, both of which were held in the previous season. According to the whistleblower, Ben Sulayem had attempted to overturn a penalty for Fernando Alonso during the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, while during the Las Vegas Grand Prix, he was said to have pushed to stop the certification of the new event. Following these accusations, the FIA conducted an investigation, led by its compliance officer and six-person ethics committee. The investigation has now concluded, and Ben Sulayem has been cleared of any wrongdoing. However, in a show of support, the FIA member clubs and sport federations of the Americas have recommended that the FIA take action against those who have allegedly tried to slander the FIA and its president without cause. In a letter published by the FIA, the member clubs state that the FIA Ethics Committee, composed of external and independent members, has unanimously issued the report in which they declare Mr. Mohammed Ben Sulayem, president of the FIA, is absolved of the unfounded accusations of interfering in the Formula One events held in Saudi Arabia and Las Vegas in 2023. The letter further states that the resolution of the Ethics Committee ratifies that the president of the FIA, Mr. Ben Sulayem, acted honorably, transparently, and independently during the events. It also notes that the accusations of impropriety and unethical practices against Ben Sulayem and the FIA were propagated by some members of the print and digital media with the sole purpose of causing harm to the FIA and its leadership, particularly the president. The following statement emphasizes that the election of the FIA president is firmly established within the FIA statutes and is exclusively the responsibility of its voting members. The decision-making power should not be influenced by external parties who intend to intervene for their own self-interest. Moreover, the statement suggests that the FIA should take legal action against those who make baseless allegations against the FIA and its leadership without any valid reason. Furthermore, the statement expresses the endorsement and ratification of the vote of confidence in support of Mr. Mohammed Ben Sulayem. It recognizes his exceptional leadership skills and the progress he has made towards the transformation of FIA in an ethical and transparent manner, which is essential to serve its members better. In a recent interview with Sky's Ted Kravitz, Lewis Hamilton shared his thoughts on the current situation regarding Mercedes' cars and the new regulation cycle in 2022. According to Hamilton, the situation is very complex, as the team has had to knock down and try again with different aspects of their cars since the start of the new regulation cycle. Although Mercedes managed to secure one race victory since the start of the new ground effect era through George Russell at Interlagos, the team is still struggling to keep up with their competitors. In fact, seven-time world champion Hamilton is currently going through the longest winless run of his career. Hamilton retired from the Australian Grand Prix last time out, which he described as his worst ever start to a season from a results perspective. However, he remains positive about the prospects for the year ahead. At this point in time, Mercedes still appear to be behind Red Bull and Ferrari in the early pecking order, with McLaren and Aston Martin also in the pack to try and be best of the rest as it stands. When asked why Mercedes seemed to have struggled to have mastered this current set of regulations, Hamilton responded by saying that, "We just haven't yet. It's not over yet." He went on to explain that starting on the right foot is crucial in this sport, and if your first brick down has a good foundation, you can continue to build on it. However, with this generation of car, Mercedes started with 5 bricks, and they had to knock it down and try again, sometimes losing their way and then finding it again. Hamilton believes that it's just a very complex situation, and the team is doing everything they can to get back on track. During a media session at Suzuka, Lewis Hamilton expressed his confidence in the current Mercedes car. Despite some inconsistent results in the first few races, Hamilton believes that there is a lot of untapped potential in the W15. Both he and George Russell have praised the car's performance at different times this season, which has given Hamilton reason to be optimistic. However, Hamilton also identified two key areas that need improvement if they are to unlock the car's full potential. Firstly, Mercedes needs to work on making the car more consistent so that they can maintain their pace throughout the race. Secondly, they need to make the car easier to drive so that Hamilton and his team can take full advantage of its capabilities. Overall, Hamilton is feeling positive about the car's potential, but he knows that there is still work to be done to achieve their goals for the season. Aston Martin and Red Bull have brought some big upgrades for this weekend. Here's some photos. Carlos Sainz, the Spaniard who won the Australian Grand Prix and was dropped by Ferrari even before the first race of the championship, has emerged as the Scuderia's star driver with 2 podiums in 3 races. Now, he is talking to pretty much all the F1 teams about his future in 2025. As the only non-Red Bull driver to have won a Grand Prix since 2022, Sainz is keen to get his future sorted out. He is currently the P1 ahead of his teammate Charles Leclerc at the Albert Park circuit, and this only adds to what has been a roller coaster 3 months for the Spaniard. The big question now is what comes next, not so much for this year but next season, as Sainz has been linked to Red Bull and Mercedes, as well as Audi and Aston Martin. However, it has been suggested that Red Bull's time frame, and perhaps Mercedes's as well, could be the big stumbling blocks in those negotiations, with neither team in a hurry to sign their second 2025 driver. Sainz, though, is ready for the talks to speed up. He and his management team have been talking to almost all of the F1 teams, and now it's just a matter of going more into detail and seeing the more realistic options. He wants to find the best options for him and his future, but as of now, he has no news to share. He said in Japan, "The only thing I would say is that obviously it's time now to speed up everything a bit, and hopefully we can get it sorted sooner rather than later." Carlos Sainz Jr., the Ferrari driver who won the Australian Grand Prix, is not overly optimistic about his chances at the upcoming Suzuka circuit. He believes that although Ferrari has made progress with their SF24, they are still a few tenths behind the Red Bull RB20. Sainz Jr. said that while Ferrari looked strong in Australia, it is important to consider the average of the first few races, and the average shows that they are still a couple of tenths off the Red Bull. He also added that they need an upgrade, particularly at tracks like Suzuka, to compete with Red Bull. Sainz Jr. praised the work done by the team in improving the car, but he also mentioned that they need more of the same if they want to win at tracks like Japan. According to him, there is no major upgrade coming soon, just a small tweak at the rear of the car, but he hopes that it will be another positive step in the same direction. Despite his Australian Grand Prix win, Sainz Jr. is looking forward to a better performance at the Japanese GP than Ferrari's 2023 performance, where they were over 40 seconds behind race winner Verstappen. He acknowledged that it is essential to turn the page quickly in both good and bad situations, especially as he prepares for the Japanese GP. He believes that it will be challenging for Ferrari, as last year was one of their most difficult races, where they were 7 or 8 tenths off Red Bull. This year, they hope to be closer and enjoy the magnificent Suzuka circuit, which is one of Sainz Jr.'s favorite tracks.